Wagga.
So I'm gonna just see if they'll double it. Just do the C-section after I have my baby. Take the baby out, do the tube tying.
Right.
Get it all over with one swoop.
Yeah.
So I don't have to cut me back open.
There you go. That's the way to do it. Yeah. You know what? That doesn't make sense to me. Like, I mean, for people who know they don't want to have kids, I'm sure they have ways to get it done. Other than birth control. Did you hear they're coming out with birth control for men?
Yeah.
And there's a lot
I don't trust that shit though.
There's a lot of less side effects for men than there is for women, and that bothers me.
How do they know the side effects?
Well, okay, look at it this way though. Women are already hormonal at their very root. Like, I'm not saying this as
no, we are.
No, women are hormonal. They're up and down, up and down. Men, we're a straight line. We're always horny. He's recording me right now. We're always horny. We're ready to fuck whenever.
Yeah, I'm fucking vlogging this shit.
That's just how men are. Like, testosterone doesn't change. Estrogen and testosterone, that changes all the time. So obviously if we have birth control for us, it'll change our hormones a bit, but it's not gonna fuck them up like it does for women.
Because I believe the hormone that makes women go a little bit crazy is the testosterone levels. Because the testosterone goes up, and our bodies can't handle that.
Probably.
It's not made for us.
Right. Well, maybe. I'm not 100% sure how the hormones fluctuate or what becomes more or less. But yeah, it is different. But like I said, I'd have a kid in a heartbeat if I could. Just because, like, for me, when my daughter was born, I felt very underwhelmed. Like, when I saw my daughter being born, I had nothing but admiration for my wife. But seeing my daughter, it didn't really feel like all those movies played out to be like, oh, your mind just goes boop. It didn't happen for me, you know?
I had a traumatic birth, so I couldn't really bond with my son.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
That shit was crazy.
What happened?
He had gotten stuck, and then his heart rate dropped, my heart rate dropped, and then I had to be rushed to have an emergency C-section. And then I passed out. I went unconscious on the table.
Yeah. That's scary. See, I call my wife good breeding stock. Here's why. Most women, you call her what? I kind of hide a little bit. Good breeding stock. No, but it's kind of true. Like, I have nothing but respect for my wife, and she knows I don't mean it in a disrespectful way. But she went in. It was like 3 a.m. And she was 5 centimeters dilated, and she gave birth at 10:37 in the morning, and she pushed for 15 minutes, no tearing, no epidural, and our daughter came out. I have nothing but admiration just watching my poor wife. Oh my God. 8 pounds, 11 ounces.
Hey, that's the same size as my son was.
Yeah.
The exact, all the way down to the ounces.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, you see this much of the head. It's like, honey, I see the head, and she's like, shut the fuck up. Like, yeah. She's just going off. Like, oh, never seen my wife like this. She's, honey, we gotta have another one soon.
See, I had epidural because I was in labor for 12
hospital, I told her, honey, are you hungry? She's like, no. I'm like, okay, well, we're stopping at Carl's because you're not going to fucking eat until after this baby's born. You're going to be pissed. So we got her a burger. She ate it before she went in. That was good. Because they immediately told her, have you eaten? She's like, yeah. Okay, well, don't eat anymore. Our daughter came out like a little gorilla. Like, she was hairy. Oh, it was spectacular. She came out, hair on her legs, chest, face, ears, butt. Honey, did you get fucked at the zoo?
My son had damn near no hair. You know how babies come out looking like grandpas?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's my son.
Ah,
Now he's got a full head of hair, finally.
yeah. Daughter came out looking like a little beast.
I look back at pictures when he was little. I was like, what happened to you?
You are so
we just seen
ugly.
some.
Yup.
We
All
seen
babies are.
some person earlier, and they had hairy legs. But they was just like a woman. So I don't know if it was like a hairy ass woman. Or
Don't fall for that. Don't fall for that. Oh, you best be careful, especially around Hollywood area.
That's
Oh.
exactly where it was at too. That's right around there.
Oh, dude, I have a story. You want to hear it? My apologies in advance. It's very inappropriate.
That's okay.
Like, oh yeah? And he's like, yeah, she was telling me how their marriage isn't going good because she doesn't suck dick good enough. So I taught her, and he bought me a trip to Maui. I was like,
Huh?
Jesus Christ, dude. That's something else. He's like, if your wife doesn't suck dick good enough, just send her number to me. I'll take care of her. Like, I'll show her. Because who knows better how to suck dick than someone with one? Like, that's a good point. Like, I'm very open to talk. Like, I'm not open to experiment just because I'm married, but I'm very open to talk. Like, yeah, okay. Hey, the conversation went on. He's talking about how, the secret to getting rid of the gag reflex is to hold your breath. I'm like, really? I'll have to tell my wife that. And then, yeah, he gets over to how Hitler had a micro penis, how he was with this one big black basketball player, like 6'7", size 15 shoe or some crap or something like that, and how he had a little dick. And I was like, wow, really? Now that's a contradiction right there, huh? And he's like, yeah, I just wanted to flick it, but
Damn.
oh yeah, literally 45 minutes of just talking about sucking dick.
Wow.
I was like, Jesus Christ. I called my wife. I'm like, honey, you best be careful. I got options. Yeah. He even offered me too. He's like, because I was like, shit, it's in the opposite direction from where I'm trying to go. He's like, oh, well, I have room at my place. I'm like, I'm sorry, I gotta get back to my wife. He's like, oh, well, I'll suck your dick so well you won't want to go back. I'm like, I'm good. I'm very straight. I'm very straight. You're not gonna sway my interest different. I'm okay.
That had to be an awkward car ride.
You know what? I've dealt with worse. Yeah, I've dealt with worse.
What you think the worst one?
Yeah.
The worst ride you ever done?
What do you want to hear? Sexual or?
Any.
Okay, well, I have a few more that are kind of like this last one. This one guy, I picked him up in West Hollywood at like 2:30 in the morning. He got in right where you're sitting. Don't worry, I wiped the seat down. He got in right where you're sitting. And, yeah, he was talking about how first off, the people helping him in threw 2 condoms at me perfectly.
Damn.
Perfectly. Landed right here, just bam, bam. I was like, Jesus Christ, you've been practicing. And they're like, here, just in case you need it. I'm like, sorry, straight and married. I'm good. And they're like, okay, well, if you change your mind, like, you have it. I'm like, thanks. I'm not going to need it. Like, whatever. They walk off, and he's staring off in the distance. He's so fucking drunk. And Yeah, he's literally he's like, are you married? I'm like, yeah, I'm married. I got a wife and kid. He's like, oh. I'm like, what about you? You married? He's like, oh, I'm engaged. He's like, that's me. He shows me a picture of himself. I'm like, oh, okay. Still straight, still married. I'm good. And he started asking to see
So
mine.
he showed you a picture of his dick.
Yeah. And then he started asking to see mine. He stared at me. He's like, I'm like, yes.
Dude,
He's like,
That's
how
crazy.
big are you? I'm like, see, I've been with my wife since high school. I don't fucking measure. He's like, well, do you have any pictures? I'm like, no, I don't. Yeah, we don't do that. And he's like, well, what's your girth? I'm like, again, don't know. Yeah, he starts asking me in actual measurement terms. I was like, Jesus Christ. Oh yeah, it was bad. Then he sat there and he stared at me for a bit longer. Oh yeah, it's gonna get better. He sat there, he stared at me for a bit longer, and then he's like, pull it out, let me see it. I'm like, no, definitely not. Definitely not, I'm good. He's like, come on, don't make it weird, we're both guys. I'm like, that's the point. He's like pressuring me. I'm uncomfortable. Like, so yeah, most of the times I'm very comfortable with myself. This time I had a fucking innie. I was like, nah, I'm good. Nope. Yeah, he kept on pressuring me. The ride came to an end. He's like, can I have a hug? I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I don't like being touched. And he's like, oh, okay. Jesus Christ. And he got out. He's like, I'm gonna give you the most massive fucking tip you've ever got. I'm like, I'm sure that was your intention. But yeah, then he gave me $3. I was like, God damn it! God damn it! You liar, you fucker.
So I'm hearing that it's a bunch of gays out here.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's straight ones too, but I don't really talk about that. Like, I'm faithful. Like, I've had to turn it down before. I don't have a problem with it.
So you picked up some females before and they tried to give you some.
Oh yeah, she knew. See, when I pick up females, especially when they're alone and when they're really drunk, first thing I do is talk about my wife, because I find that seems to make them feel a bit more comfortable and not think I'm such a perv or a creep trying to get in their pants and take advantage of them, which I'm not. The one time I was talking about my wife, I always ask I'm like, off to home or off to party? And she's like, off to home. And she was celebrating her brother's 21st birthday with him, and I'm like, oh, well, I can smell how good of a time you've been having. She's like, she laughed a little bit. I'm like, you need a barf bag? Any water? I got doggy bags and stuff. And she's like, no, but that's really considerate of you. I started talking about my wife. And we get closer to the end of the ride. She's like, oh, are you going to post this, by the way?
Huh?
Are you going to post this, by the way?
Yeah, I was. Don't think I should do it.
No.
Talking about some personal shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen the video.
I really don't want to go up on the internet. Just because I don't like being known too much. You know? Like, I don't go on social media.
Well, I won't post it then.
Thanks, man.
Because I don't want you trying to sue me or nothing.
Yeah. Well, still send me the video, please. I'm sure I'll get your number or something if I watch it. Yeah, maybe cool. But yeah, we came closer to the end of the ride, and yeah, she's like, you've been so nice to me. I'm like, yeah, that's my job. I don't want to make you uncomfortable. She's like, is there anything I can do to repay you? I'm like, oh shit. See, I know I'm not under the influence, so I get hints. But I played the naive card. I'm like, no, just good review. That'll be great. And, she's like, are you sure? There's nothing else? I'm like, fuck, the porn music just started playing. God damn it. I'm like, no, I'm good. That's good. That's all. And she's like, okay. We get to the end of the ride, and she drops her purse getting out up the driveway. And so she bends over to pick it up. And and then turns around and comes back. And she's like, "Are you sure you don't want to come in for a water or anything? Like, I know you have to come back out after." I'm like, "I'm very flattered. Thank you for offering, but I'm a married man. I'm a very faithful married man. Thank you, but I'll have to pass." She's like, "Oh, your wife's so lucky." I'm like, "And she will never know." I mean, there's stories you tell your significant other, and there's stories you don't. Yeah, that's just one of them. Like, because she's gonna go through her head and think, "Oh well, other people are flirting with my man," which she's seen it. Like, gay people flirt with me right in front of her. They don't care. No, so she knows, but I don't want her to think I have any temptation, you know? Because then that causes more issues.